Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. I just did an afterthoughts for Devilman, the manga. That's going to be uploaded on Times of Darkness later. But right now, Strike the Blood. Oh my god. The ending. Wow. But then again, the ending was surprising, but I had a feeling that's what was going to go down. Because pretty much what happens in this episode, and as we know, Yuma. She took Koujo's body for a test drive. And pretty much, she took it for like a test drive, I guess you can say. And, she's trying to basically what she was trying to do was she was trying to basically get into the prison, the barrier prison, and it was kind of weird. The barrier prison is actually not there. It's encased in a barrier, and even when you destroy the barrier, you see it. You have to, it's not like you just. I guess it rises up the actual prison, and you go in there, give or take, and pretty much they're facing off against, and this was episode, like I said, episode 15. Labyrinth of the Blue Witch. This was part 3, I believe. Part 3? Yeah. And next week's not going to be called, we're going into a new arc, kind of, if you will. It's going to be called the Observer's Banquet 1. That's the whole gist. So, basically, they confront her. This is one scene with assistants for grabbing, Koujo in Yuma's body, tentacles and shit. But ends on happening is Floria and Sayaka. They show up and they help them out of it, and they go and they get the assistance of the other guy from the previous arc. Cannon's supposed father. Yeah, he comes in and he just helps them go through this portal that allows you to go to where the prison is. Because the prison pretty much, I believe, is underwater, and when you destroy the barrier, it becomes visible. And if you attack it again, it becomes, you can go onto it and everything. And basically, she gives the 411 to Koujo about what went down and basically why she's doing this and so on and so forth. Pretty much, if they decided not to have hijacked, if she did not hijack Koujo's body, Yuma would have had to actually sacrifice all the people in the city. That's even worse. Whew. Good things, And basically, it was shown in the beginning of the episode. She was programmed by her mother. I'm like, what? She was a test tube baby, pretty much. And her whole existence was to break her mother out of the prison. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And she supposedly she can't go against it. She has to do it. So it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. But this gets a 5 out of 5. I'll explain why I'm giving it a 5. Such a high review rating with review later on. So she's explaining this to him, and she was basically saying she doesn't have anything else, and then she was talking to him in his body, basically saying that I have you at least. Because everything else she didn't have in her life. So she basically uses Koujo's familiar to destroy. Also the ancestor of the first progenitors there too, but that's nothing really important at the moment. She uses it to destroy or attack the prison, and that allows when she attacks it with it was the yellow familiar, that lion thing. It pretty much destroys what needs to be destroyed and allows her to get access, Yuma, to the prison and to go inside. Meanwhile, we have, Sayaka and Floria, and they're basically fighting the witch sisters. They basically find out that the thing they're fighting, those tentacles, it's actually a plant. Yeah, it's forest. That was weird. He said it was a forest. I was like, forest? Basically destroyed this forest and created a plant out of it. But Sayaka and Floria find a way to defeat it, and they do it, and they create, and they just destroy it, and they're like kind of pissed off about it, the girls, and they just take them down. Meanwhile, going on at the prison, there's a catch to getting into the prison and actually saving her, breaking out everyone that's in the prison. The person, this was a big surprise, I didn't expect this, that holds the key, I think they said key and door? Not 100% sure. I believe it was key and door to the prison and to access it was Natsky, the teacher child. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. But that explains a lot of things because now we understand why she wasn't there when she disappeared and everything. And supposedly, this really blew my mind. The Natsky that he's been seeing Koujo throughout the entire series is an illusion. I'm like, what? Yeah. And she's known as a witch, Natsky, Witch of the Void. And she just made an illusion. She's been there for like 10 years in the prison. She's like the warden. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? That blew my mind. That blew my mind. So what ends on happening is we have a fight between... Koujo tries to reason with her. Reason with Yuma. Try to bring her back, to tell her not to do this and all that jazz. It kind of works, but at the same time, it doesn't work. And I will tell you guys pretty much what ends on happening. He basically tells her, how you're free, you have me, you don't have to do this, that whole jazz. Now, when I heard that, and the whole thing about that, I thought to myself, okay, yeah, there might be a slight possibility that we might get a surprise in the end. I thought to myself while I was watching it. So he tries to coerce her. It doesn't work, obviously. And she uses the Blue Knight guy thing to attack Natsky, and that's when, Himaragi shows up with the spear to stop it, and that's when we have a huge battle between them. And what ends on happening is she can't do it, Himaragi. And like Yuma's like, she thinks she's won and everything, but what ends on happening is using the spear while he's in her body, Yuma's body. Koujo uses the spear, and they double team her, and they're able to break the knight and stab Koujo's body, but don't stab him in the heart. And that's what brings them back into the original bodies, pretty much. And then we have this cute scene with Sayaka and Floria. And then we have a scene with Himaragi and Koujo. And it was kind of funny. And then, the teacher gets up and saying, so on and so forth. And Yuma's okay, and she's saying that she's free now, that she doesn't have to do what she was supposed to do. That was the whole bit. When I heard that, I thought, are we going to get an extra ending? So, pretty much what ends on happening after that, we got the credits, and we get another scene. And I'm thinking, okay, Koujo's okay, everyone's okay. Out of nowhere comes the Blue Knight and stabs Yuma. But it really stabs her. It stabs her, and it's transparent, and it goes through her and stabs Natsky. What? of surprised me. And then Koujo just screams and everything, and that's where the episode ends. I'm like, whoa. Now, I'm going to take a spin on this and say, I don't know, actually. Now I think about it. There's a possibility, slight, we're talking a minuscule possibility, that Natsky could survive and Yuma could survive. Now, here's what I'm thinking happened. The Blue Knight is probably being controlled by Yuma's mother in the prison. At least that's what I think it is. Because next week's episode's called The Observer's Banquet. So, but I don't know specific. I think Yuma could survive as well. I don't know if they're both going to survive, though. If they can bring Natsky back and Yuma. Here's the thing. If Natsky dies, that's it. They all get released from that prison. So it's not really a good idea that that should happen. Now, I don't know specifically what this is going to entail. This is an observer's banquet. I can only imagine what that entails. But this was a big surprise. But like I said before, I kind of saw this coming. Because when Koujo was saying the whole thing with, you're free now and everything, I thought, could we have a surprise ending here? But still, I give it a 5 out of 5 because, it was a surprise. Because what happened was when she got stabbed, Natsky, she said, used your own daughter. And I thought, oh, so that's what happened. Yeah. Most likely, the one controlling the night was her mother. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. So you're going to use your own daughter to get your escape? Well, then, confidentially, you're not her mother anymore, are you? You're just a dumb bitch. But I'm going to say that Koujo somehow gives his blood to them, at least to Yuma, and brings her back. At least I think. Because it was very weird, because she was bleeding, but so was Natsky. But I'm not sure who got the worst of it, Natsky or Yuma. It's very difficult in this episode. Tell me what you guys think about this episode. Comment section below, the story. Yeah, it was very, very strange, that whole scene when the sword went into Yuma and then it went into Natsky. I thought to myself, okay, if that was like a teleportation thing, where the sword goes into her and then comes out of Natsky, do they both get the blunt of it? Only one of them. Who got the worst of it? That was my whole thing when looking at that part. But it was a good episode. Didn't expect it to go down that way, but kind of did. Give it a 5 out of 5, at least for now. I wonder where this leads to. This could lead to a lot of things going into next week. Because it said Observer's Banquet. I wonder what that means. This might open up the door to something else. Because and here's the thing, Natsky can't die. If Natsky dies, then the mother's going to come out. This is all going to point to the point where Koujo's going to kill someone. Yeah, he's going to kill someone. I'm almost guarantee on that. If either of them die, well, mostly for Yuma than Natsky. But yeah, that's pretty much the story, people. Bankai 922. Didn't expect this from Strike the Blood this week. I really didn't. Should be interesting to see what we go on from here. This part was only 3 parts. 3 episodes long, The Blue Witch. I found that very surprising. We'll have to wait and see for next week. So, I'm Bankai 922. See you guys later. Wow, that was a surprising ending. Shit. Yuma. Hopefully she's not dead. See you guys later. Peace.